Hey guys, Joe here. Maxpedition sent us another pouch to share with you. I've been testing it for a couple weeks. This is the Maxpedition Double Decker Mini. There is also a Maxpedition EDC that's a little bit larger. The Mini is roughly 4 by 6 by 2.5. The EDC is just a smidge larger at 5 by 7 with a corresponding depth. In terms of price, the Mini I'm seeing fluctuate on Amazon between $24 to $28, so around the $25 to $30 price point. The EDC is pretty firmly right around $30. If you get this during a Maxpedition BOGO event, which they run over on their website, you could get it for half that price either size. You could get two of these, you could get one of these in a different pouch, kind of mix and match. That's one of the cool things with Maxpedition is their sales, particularly on their legacy gear like this stuff, are pretty frequent, and the BOGO event is a pretty good deal if you want to pick up a lot of pouches at once to kind of do an overhaul on your kit, whether it's for a professional work bag or an EDC bag. I find this is pretty cool. This is, in this dimension, roughly equivalent to the Maxpedition Mini, but what makes it the double decker is it adds a whole extra pocket that we'll get into here in a second. Now, to compare it size-wise, here is the Maxpedition Pico that we talked about recently, their smallest little EDC pouch, which if you pack it right can fit in the front pocket of your pants. Now you have my favorite, the Maxpedition Micro, and in fact the tool layout in here is very similar to the tool layout in here, but obviously you have a little bit more room for some bigger tools and that extra pocket there. And then lastly I have my Maxpedition Beefy, one of their biggest pouches, obviously much bigger in the 2D, but when you look at the depth, really not a huge difference. So if you're someone who likes bags like me that are pretty plain Jane, not a ton of internal organization, which tend to be a little bit deeper than highly organized tech bags, this might be a pouch to go with because you can actually take advantage of that depth. And I really do like the way they did the second pocket that we'll show off in here. In terms of features, it's a usual Maxpedition pouch, comes in several colors. This is wolf gray, comes in this olive color. I think they also have a khaki black and possibly, don't quote me on it, maybe a multicam. If they don't, Maxpedition, certainly get on it because I know it's a popular colorway. The layout is going to be very familiar. You have roughly a 3-inch by 1.5-inch tall. You could put a 2x3 patch on here, but because when you put gear in it, it puckers, the top of that patch will probably get damaged, so I would just keep this for Ranger eyes. We're rocking Dad Squad today, an awesome little parenting brand, if you're familiar with them. We also have the high-quality mesh pocket, though on these larger pouches, it is Velcroed, so it does take a little bit to get into, especially once you pack it out. It can be kind of tight, but this will keep stuff fairly secure, particularly because it's so tight on top of that Velcro. So challenge coins, a little bit of cash, maybe receipts, something like that. You could use that front pocket for that, but probably not much else. Moving on to the zips, we have YKK zips with paracord pulls. You can keep them all together like this, but you can kind of, see how it's a little bit jumbly. You might grab the wrong one. So you can always cut those off in color code, or you can just move these somewhere else. So, front pockets on the left, back pockets on the right, top, bottom, etc. They go most of the way around just fine. Switching to the back, we do have Pals Molly webbing attachment, and then you have a really nice, generous grab handle here. A little bit longer than the one on the Micro, as you can see, which is really nice. I can get my proper full hand in here, whereas this I can kind of get 2-3 fingers, but that's about it. So being a bigger pouch, get a little bit more of a hand grab. I do quite enjoy that. You can also hang this up on something like that, and it's kind of cool. So you can kind of grab whatever module you need for that day. Maybe you're switching from your work layout to your EDC layout, etc. Now getting into the actual inside, kind of a similar fare, but it's swapped from what I'm used to. I'm used to the layouts like in the Micro here, where I have the main tools over here and the small peripherals over on the left, usually leading to a later, more convenient lid, so I can just lightly flop it over and the tools don't really interfere with the pocket. On this one, that's reversed, so my major tools are over here, and they do kind of infringe on that front pocket a little bit. Not sure where they switched it. That's one of my big complaints, is they kind of should switch that back, put the peripheral elastics over here and the major use ones over here. But in terms of features, you do have a little keychain or a little tool loop. You can put something on and leave it hanging in here, or slip it into the slip pocket in the back. You have 2 medium tall elastics and then 4 short small elastics. So you can put tools in here. You can put different pens, pencils, markers up front. I could probably put these tools in the ones over here if I wanted to, but that would overstretch the elastic and thus shorten its lifespan. Over here, we got another kind of pen loop. We have two medium short loops over here, kind of between a small medium, or schmedium, if you will, that fit a large Bic lighter and then just a pretty thick workhorse flashlight. And then behind that is one big elastic. So I could put like a notebook in there or something like that if I wanted to. So I could just do pens and pencils up here and have a notebook here. I wouldn't have to have tools. If you just wanted to use it as like a stationary pouch, that could certainly work. And then just like the front and the back, you have a slip pocket. And instead of a key ring, you have a little carabiner attachment made out of paracord, which you're probably used to if you're used to Maxpedition gear. Overall, you can fit a pretty standard array of stuff in here. You could really pack it out if you wanted to for a pouch of this size. It's more than capable. You know, this is all I would need in a daily type of situation, to be honest, but you know, everyone's different. And then switching to the back, things are a little bit nicer in terms of depth. You've got more room for bulky items. However, organization, there really isn't any. You have just an empty space to shove bigger items here and a slip pocket in the back. How I've been trying to use it is I was carrying a spare bandana in there since the little one in my life wants to carry one of his own. So I'll give him one out of my pocket and I can pull one out of here for me. I've also been putting my Notely planner and pencil, kind of just setting them in there and zipping it back up, putting my pencil in here, though it's not quite big enough for that. Maybe I should have gone with an EDC if I wanted to use it for this. But what this can fit pretty well is your more standard size notebooks that we find here in the United States. If I bring them over, you've got a field notes, everyone knows, everyone loves. You can fit it here. You can also fit it in the slip pocket if you so chose, meaning you don't have to just use this for small peripherals like pens or sticky notes. You can actually use it for your notebook. Keep a spare notebook in there or a different notebook from what you keep in your pocket, maybe a tool journal for your trade or whatever. This is probably the biggest you're going to fit though, and because it's really maxing out the height, you will damage the corners and possibly the top of the spine, leading to a premature rip of the cover. So just keep that in mind. You also have the moleskin equivalents. You have like a moleskin extra small, obviously going to fit in there. You could probably fit 2 or 3 of them in there if you fit them right. Then you have the ones that are very similar to field notes. You have the cahiers and volants. So just switching, showing you guys those. Obviously fits in there. This other guy is a little bit thicker, so it doesn't fit quite as nice, but it will fit. If you're looking to maximize this pocket in terms of page count, I believe this has more pages than a field notes. Could be wrong. More durable cover for sure. And then lastly, what this is going to be really great for is right in the rain, because their dimensions are a little bit smaller than those field notes and moleskins, so they slip in far easier. Obviously, the passport size standard, right in the rains, fit in there great. 2 to 3 of them could fit in there, no problem. In terms of the thicker ones, this can be more equivalent to maybe a little black book type moleskin, which definitely doesn't fit in there. This can fit in there. This, if I bring it up here so you can read the model number, is the number 374M or 374M. This will fit. It's a tight fit, but you can get a thick notebook in there if it's just short enough and just narrow enough to fit. It's probably going to be the thickest type of notebook you're going to fit in there, but these are more than capable for being a daily journal. You can also obviously put top bounds in there. They're going to be narrower, so they're going to slip in much easier. This spiral bound is easy. This is the 135. And then lastly, I have a perfect bound one for you guys that are into night in the rain. This slips in there really, really great. And you don't have to worry about the spiral getting crushed or anything. So this is definitely one I would also recommend. This is the number 978T. So this is a kind of nice pocket. You don't have a lot of organization like the front, and some people might not like that, but this allows you to put bulkier items into your organizer that you wouldn't normally probably be able to put in because of all that organization. So they leave it free form in the back, kind of like a mullet. Business up front, party in the back. You can put soft goods in here. You can put nitrile gloves. You can put N95s. You can put, you know, kind of anything back here as long as it's soft and malleable, because you will have some push through from the front up to maybe even a half an inch of push through that invades on this pocket, depending on how you pack the front. And then you do have this nice slip pocket here. In terms of slipping in, you know, pencils and whatnot, I would avoid things that have longer pipes. like this rotoring or this pentel, because yeah, they can slip on this side, but they're going to be banging around, potentially stabbing into stuff. And if you put it back here in the mesh pocket, they're going to be just fitting in there right at the crease, so you could possibly bend or break those if you shove your bag or throw your bag down too hard. And they can also get kind of caught in the mesh and over time damage the mesh. I would just stick to standard pencils and mechanical pencils that have something where you could either tuck the tip away or put a pencil cap on it. And then obviously standard pens are no problem because they don't have anything protruding, like this Fisher Space pen A-OK. Obviously you can put in things like a sharpener, an eraser. If you want to do this as like a little journaling kit, you can do that as well. Not everything from Maxpedition has to be used for tactical, super tooly purposes. I know a lot of stationary guys that love EDC pouches as well. So overall, I think this is a really great pouch. I'm still using it, still breaking it in. I will eventually do a review if you guys are interested, but overall I really like this. If you're very interested in the Maxpedition Mini, which is the next size up from my favorite pouch, the Micro, but want something that can take advantage of the depth in your bag, maybe for some just random bulkier items, the double decker is definitely one you want to go with. I am interested in seeing how this plays out. I'm going to play with it a little bit more. I might even pick up the larger version just because I really want to get my planner to fit in that back pot so that I can throw this in my bag without risking it getting destroyed, because this doesn't really fit most covers, and a lot of covers it does fit are bulky. But overall, I will keep testing this Mini specifically for you guys. If you're interested in seeing a review, just let me know, and in a couple months, if there's enough people interested, we will do a follow-up talking about durability. But it's Maxpedition. Durability is their middle name. I have absolutely no worry about this falling apart or failing whatsoever. So until next time, stay safe, stay informed. We might be looking at more Maxpedition gear here in the future, either off my own dime or sent to me by them, so just keep that in mind. Hopefully this doesn't come off as shilly. They've asked, I've answered. I've been very grateful that they've been wanting to work with us, and I am perfectly happy keeping that relationship going. So